What happens when two powerhouse women collide on daytime television in a way nobody expected? Today, we're breaking down the explosive moment that had the internet buzzing when Zoe Saldaña sat down with Kelly Clarkson, and what started as a friendly chat turned fiery in mere minutes. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and drop a comment with your thoughts. We're going to want to see how this unfolds. The interview began like any other. Kelly greeted Zoe with her signature warmth and energy. The audience buzzed. Everything seemed normal. Pleasantries were exchanged. Zoe spoke about balancing her career with family life, and a smooth rapport seemed to form. Then Kelly leaned in, that curious glint in her eye. "Zoe, I've been wanting to ask you something. There's been a lot of discussion online about representation in Hollywood, and you've been at the center of some debates. How do you respond to critics who say you've taken roles that should have gone to other actresses?" The room shifted. Zoe's smile faltered. She inhaled slowly before answering. "Kelly, that's a complicated question. It deserves more than a soundbite. I've always approached my career with integrity. I never take a role intending to take away from anyone else." Kelly nodded, pressing further. "Sure, but you see why people might feel that way, right? Especially online opinions are loud and passionate." Zoe's calm edge sharpened. "Social media opinions don't always reflect reality. I've spent my entire career auditioning, proving myself. It's not fair to reduce that to a narrative that I'm taking opportunities from others." "I'm not reducing anything," Kelly said, hand raised slightly. "I'm asking the questions a lot of people want answered. This show is about real conversations. Real conversations require context." Zoe shot back. "What you're doing right now feels less like a conversation and more like an interrogation fueled by internet gossip." The audience went silent. Kelly's friendly curiosity had hardened into defensiveness. "Zoe, I have to say, I'm surprised by your reaction. These are legitimate questions people are asking." Zoe leaned in, composed but firm. "People ask a lot of questions. That doesn't mean they all deserve to be presented as fact. You're starting with the premise that I've done something wrong. I reject that premise entirely." Kelly leaned back, caught off guard. "I'm not saying you've done anything wrong. I'm giving you a platform to address criticizing just repeating what people are saying." Zoe's voice rose slightly, controlled but unyielding. "Kelly, you have one of the biggest platforms on daytime TV. When you frame questions this way, you're not neutral. You're taking a side." "I am not taking a side," Kelly insisted, frustration creeping into her tone. "I'm a journalist. I ask tough questions. That's my job." Zoe let out a short, sharp laugh. "A journalist, Kelly. This is a talk show. You have musical guests and play games with celebrities. Let's not pretend this is 60 Minutes. Kelly's face flushed, spine straightening. "Excuse me? I've won multiple awards for this show. I take my work seriously, and I don't appreciate you dismissing it." "I'm not dismissing it," Zoe replied, voice steady. "I'm pointing out that you invited me here under the guise of a friendly interview, and instead ambushed me with loaded questions meant to put me on the defensive for accusations I don't even agree are valid." Kelly's jaw tightened. "Nobody ambushed you. This is how interviews work. Guests get asked questions. If you didn't want to answer, maybe you shouldn't have agreed to come on the show." "Maybe I shouldn't have," Zoe said, letting the words hang. The audience gasped. "Maybe I should have known better than to expect a respectful conversation, instead of a viral controversy." Kelly's voice sharpened. "Are you seriously suggesting I'd manufacture drama for ratings?" "I'm suggesting," Zoe said evenly, "that you knew exactly what you were doing when you asked that question. And we both know controversial moments get views. So yeah, I think you were fishing for this reaction." Kelly stewed a rare move in an interview. "You know what, Zoe? I've built this show on authenticity and real conversations. I don't manufacture anything. The fact that you're getting defensive tells me maybe there's some truth to what people are saying. Zoe rose to meet her energy. Defensive? I'm not defensive. I'm being honest. There's a difference. And interpreting my refusal to accept your framing as defensiveness. That's the problem. The problem, Kelly said, voice tight, is that you came on my show and you're attacking me for doing my job? Your job is to make guests feel ambushed and attacked, Zoe shot back. Because that's exactly what this feels like. I've done hundreds of interviews. I know the difference between a tough question and a setup. Kelly crossed her arms. A setup. Are you serious? You're on my show, accusing me of setting you up, when all I did was ask about a topic that's very much in public conversation. You didn't just ask about it, Zoe said, firm. You asked how I respond to critics who say I've taken roles from other actresses. That's not neutral. That's giving credibility to a narrative and forcing me to defend myself against it. That's what interviews are for, Kelly argued. To hear directly from the person at the center of the conversation. No, Zoe shot back. If you wanted my side, you would have asked about my career, my choices, my perspective. Instead, you led with what other people think, asking me to react to opinions. That's not giving me a platform, it's putting me on trial. The audience shifted uncomfortably. Phones came out. Cameras clicked. Kelly noticed agitation rising. You're being incredibly unfair. I've always supported diverse voices in entertainment. For you to suggest I have an agenda is insulting. I never said you had an agenda, Zoe clarified, voice sharp. I said you asked a loaded question. Two very different things. Kelly's voice dripped with sarcasm. A loaded question, right? So asking about something widely discussed in the media is now considered loaded. When you frame it the way you did, Zoe insisted. Words matter, Kelly. The phrasing matters. You know the difference between a fair question and one designed to provoke. You've been doing this for years. Don't pretend otherwise. Kelly threw her hands up. I can't believe this. I invited you here for a conversation, and you're turning it into a conspiracy theory where I'm out to get you. I'm not saying you're out to get me, Zoe said. Voice steady. I'm saying you asked a question that was disrespectful. And when I called it out, instead of acknowledging it, you doubled down and got defensive. I got defensive. Kelly laughed incredulously. Zoe, you've been on the attack since the question started. Every single thing you've said has been combative because you put me in that position. Zoe fired back, eyes flashing. You think I wanted to come on your show and have this argument? You think this is fun for me? I came here expecting a pleasant interview, Zoe said, her voice calm but edged with frustration. Maybe talk about my work, share some stories, connect with your audience. Instead, you went straight for controversy. Kelly's eyes flashed. You keep saying that, but you have no proof I wanted controversy. Am I projecting? Zoe challenged, stepping closer. Then why didn't you ask me about my upcoming projects first? Why didn't you ease into the conversation? Why was that your opening topic after the pleasantries? Kelly faltered, just a fraction of a second. Because it's relevant. It's what people are talking about. What some people on Twitter are talking about. Zoe's tone sharpened. And you decided that was more important than treating me with basic respect and courtesy. Don't you dare suggest I didn't treat you with respect, Kelly shot back, her voice rising. I've been nothing but professional. Professional, Zoe countered, would have been asking thoughtful questions. Professional would have given me a chance to talk about my work without immediately putting me on the defensive. Professional would have recognized I'm a human binet just content for your show. The band leader shifted nervously, glancing at the producers off stage. Cameras rolled, capturing every tense second of the exchange. Kelly noticed the energy in the room, a flicker of concern crossing her face. She inhaled deeply, trying to steady herself. Look, clearly we have very different perspectives on what just happened here. Clearly, Zoe shot back, refusing to back down. Kelly gestured toward her chair, voice tight. But I think we need to wrap this up before it gets any worse. Can we just sit down and finish this interview like adults? Kelly asked, her voice strained. Zoe held her gaze, unblinking. Adults. Kelly, I've been the adult this entire time. Honest, direct, clear about my boundaries. You're the one who can't handle being challenged. That was the breaking point. Kelly's face flushed red, and she pointed toward the exit. You know what? I think we're done here. I'm not standing on my own stage to be lectured about how to do my job by someone who can't handle a simple question. A simple question? Zoe's voice cut cold. Fine. Here's a simple answer. I'm leaving. Clearly, this was a mistake from the start. Fine by me, Kelly shot back, standing, her tone sharp. In fact, I'm asking you to leave. This is my show, and I don't have to tolerate being attacked on my own stage. Zoe's eyebrows shot up. You're kicking me off? Yes, Kelly said firmly, her voice ringing across the studio. I've tried patience. I've tried civil conversation. You've made it clear that's impossible. So yes, I'm asking you to leave my show. Unbelievable. Zoe shook her head. This is absolutely unbelievable. You asked a disrespectful question. I called you out. Now I'm the one being kicked off. You're being kicked off, Kelly said, voice steady with authority. Because you've been hostile and combative from the moment I asked a legitimate question. I've had thousands of guests on this show, and you're the first to act like this. Or maybe I'm the first with the courage to push back. Zoe fired back. Maybe everyone else just smiled and played along because they didn't want to make waves. But I'm not going to sit here and let you disrespect me just because it's your show and you think that gives you the right. Kelly stepped closer, the tension radiating. Offstage, producers gestured frantically. The right? Kelly snapped. I have every right to ask my guests questions. That's literally the point of having guests. If you can't handle that, maybe you shouldn't do interviews at all. I can handle questions, Zoe said, standing tall. What I can't handle is being set up to fail, and that's exactly what you did. You wanted this reaction? You wanted me upset so you could get your viral moment. Congratulations, you got it. I wanted a conversation, Kelly insisted, voice wavering slightly. I wanted to hear your perspective. No. Zoe shot back, cutting through the tension. You wanted controversy. And the sad part, you probably don't even realize how manipulative that question was. You probably think you were being brave and hard-hitting, but all you did was show everyone that you're willing to throw a guest under the bus for ratings. Kelly's mouth opened and closed. That is completely unfair, she said. Then why are the cameras still rolling? Zoe pressed. Why hasn't anyone called cut? Because this is exactly what you want, drama, conflict, something that will get shared and talked about for days. A producer stepped on stage. Hands raised to de-escalate. No, Zoe interrupted, holding up her hand. It's fine. I'm leaving. Kelly made it very clear I'm not welcome here. Kelly's voice wavered, a mix of hurt and anger. You made yourself unwelcome. I've always respected you as an actress. I was excited to have you on, but you came in here with an attitude. I came in expecting to be treated like a professional, Zoe said, voice calm but pointed. Instead, I got ambushed. So yes, maybe I do have an attitude. Maybe when someone disrespects you, you're allowed to have an attitude about it. Disrespects you. Kelly's voice wavered, breaking just slightly. I can't believe you think I disrespected you. I was trying to give you a chance to address criticisms directly by validating them in your question. Kelly, Zoe said, her tone sharp. listen to yourself. You're still defending the question, instead of seeing why it was a problem. Kelly quickly wiped at her eyes. You know what? Fine. You win. You're right. I'm wrong. Whatever makes you feel heard. But you still need to leave. Gladly, Zoe said, snatching her purse from beside her chair. And for the record, this isn't about winning or losing. It's about having enough self-respect not to let someone with a big platform like yours, make me feel like I need to apologize for my career. I never asked you to apologize, Kelly whispered, almost to herself. You did, Zoe shot back, turning for one last glance. Maybe not in those exact words, but that's exactly what your question was asking for. An apology. A justification. Some admission that I've done something wrong, and I won't give it. I won't give anyone that. Silence fell. The two women stared at each other, eyes glistening with unshed tears, neither willing to show weakness. Finally, Zoe pivoted and walked off stage, her heels clicking sharply in the stunned quiet. Kelly remained frozen for a moment, lost, before finally turning to the audience. We're going to take a quick break, she said, her voice shaky. We'll be right back. But everyone watching knew the truth. They wouldn't be right back. Not really. Something had broken in that interview. Something no commercial break could fix. The audience sat in stunned silence as the cameras finally cut. And Kelly left the stage herself. Shoulders tense, eyes still haunted. That, ladies and gentlemen, was one of the most explosive moments in daytime television history. Collision of two strong women refusing to back down. So, what do you think? Was Kelly out of line with her question? Or was Zoe overreacting? Drop a comment and let me know your take.